it was the fastest method. Also, I found a very thin marker, and I also have one recommendation. I found this thing. It is almost like a piece of paper, so it was the best way to make notes. She asked me to close the curtains to show my desk. I was trying to get the attention of proctor.
Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. Today I talk to Liza. Liza just took the TOEFL Home Edition and she's going to talk about her experience. Hi Liza, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. And you?
I'm fine too, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today, Liza. Many TOEFL students wonder what taking the TOEFL Home Edition is like and how they can prepare for the test. So it's really great that you want to tell us how it was for you. First, tell us a bit about yourself. What are you doing and where are you from?
Well, I'm from Russia, from Siberian part of Russia, and I got my bachelor degree at Russian University, and my degree was connected with linguistics, with intercultural communication. My first language is English that I'm studying, and the second one is French. And I needed TOEFL to enroll to the universities in the USA, and I'm interested in programs connected with educational development. And this year I'm going to enroll to the University of Wisconsin and a few more universities. So I hope that everything will be fine.
You took the TOEFL Home Edition. What was your experience like?
Well, first of all, I was a little bit even terrified, I would say, because I couldn't find the answers to all my questions that I had, because I was curious about the communication with proctors. I couldn't find any reliable info about that. And all in all, I was also a little bit relaxed because if I've chosen the test center, it means that I would need to go to another city, which makes it a little bit more stressful. So yeah, in just passing exams in home, it's easier because of the level of stress.
Sure, so taking the TOEFL Home Edition was more convenient for you, right?
Yeah.
How did you communicate with your proctor during the test?
So first of all, they got the access to my computer. They installed the application, and it was a chat application basically. So they wrote messages to me, yeah, everything was fine because all communication, they explained all the steps. And at the very beginning, by the way, I've heard one woman, she was talking to me. So I suggest it was my first proctor because during the exam I had like at least four proctors.
Wow.
I've seen the names changing in chat, so I guess that they were different. Yes, and this woman at the beginning, she asked me to close the curtains to show my desk, all the area. And yeah, so she was just checking everything. And then a communication was only through the text messages.
So you only wrote to your proctor until the end of the test?
Yes, and one more communication that we had was during the break because I really needed to leave the room for this 10 minutes. And because this test, it's adapted to the test centers, it says that you need to ask someone whether you can leave. And I wasn't sure about that. So I was just sitting in my chair for at least 1 minute thinking about the action that I should take. And yeah, so all in all, I was trying to get the attention of proctor, and I wrote the message, so they gave me permission to leave my room for 10 minutes. So yeah, it was not the type of communication that we had.
Liza, many people have asked me how people manage to erase their notes in the TOEFL Home Edition because you don't have much time between the sections and you are only allowed to use one whiteboard or one transparency sheet. So if you have a bigger handwriting, this may be an issue. My question for you is, how did you erase your notes?
Well, actually, I was kind of prepared for that because I had a special thing. I can show it to you.
Amazing.
So it's something that people use for erasing any notes from whiteboards, and it was the fastest method because beforehand I was training so to choose the best thing that I can use, and I also had like paper tissue with me, but it wasn't very helpful. It takes time to erase notes. And also I found I even have it as well, a very thin marker. So it's like, it's tiny. and comparing to the simple one. And so it wasn't very difficult. The only thing that I was worrying about that at the very end, when I was asked to erase my notes, I couldn't show it to my proctor, the erasing process. So I put it on the desk, I erased it, and then I showed that it was totally clear.
Amazing. So you also practiced erasing before, right? So that you could
Yes.
make sure that you know how to do it on test day.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a really good idea, because this way you put yourself in the situation that you will encounter on test day, and you also know how much time you need to erase your notes, right?
Yes, and I also have one recommendation in terms of these things that can be used, because this whiteboards, they're not so easy to use during the test, I would say. And I found this thing, actually, it's something that people use for clay, for something connected with types of art. And you can write only on one side of it, but still it is almost like a piece of paper. So it was the best way to make notes, because it's very easy and convenient.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for this advice. I think this is very helpful. Lisa, you got a very high TOEFL score. Congratulations again. That's really awesome. How did you prepare to get such a great score?
Well, first of all, I found the resources, the best resources. So I found your channel, a few more channels, I think official, and I found a tutor. But I would even say that it was very difficult to find a good tutor, because at least in my country, people either have no experience in taking the exam, or they deal only with the low-level students. So whenever I was trying to discuss the educational process and all that stuff, they were just refusing to answer. So it was difficult. But all in all, I found my tutor, because I had some issues with writing, because I suggest I have some form of dyslexia or something like that, because it's difficult to spell words correctly and to just learn them sometimes. And we've been practicing doing writing tests, and sometimes it was about speaking as well, because speaking is quite difficult, but thanks to your templates, it's getting much easier. And I've been preparing for, I think, 5 months in total.
Wow, so 5 intense months with a lot of studying. I'm so glad that the templates were helpful to you. Lisa, was there a task on the TOEFL that you found really challenging?
Yes, I would say it was the reading text, the first one. It was about China and about rice. So it was connected with historical facts, which is extremely difficult topic to me. I wasn't really prepared for that. And unfortunately, I think I spent too much just looking and dealing with the first one. And I've seen in one of your videos, you've mentioned that we shouldn't concentrate on one question. It was my big mistake, because when I reached the last text, I had only 14 minutes instead of like 18.
That's not much time. Reading already is really a challenge. You don't have much time, and you are totally right. If you spend too much time on a question because you can't solve it, you will lack that time for the other questions. But in the end, you did it. Everything's fine. So that's amazing. Lisa, which task on the TOEFL was the easiest for you?
Well, I think like many other students, I would say listening part was quite easy, because I watched many YouTubers, and I just I've never thought that it might be something difficult, but still I was in a rush and I was sure about all my answers. But yeah, I've made some mistakes, because I got 27 on a listening part, and I would say that I've got this extra tasks on listening part, because I had more of them than on preparational tests.
What would you recommend to somebody who struggles with listening?
Well, in terms of preparation, I used some YouTube channels like connected with TED Talks even, or something about history, biology, the topics that students usually have on this listening parts, and just listen, yeah, as much as possible. I think it's the best one. And learning, taking notes, it's very important as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. That's excellent advice. Lisa, how did you feel immediately after the TOEFL?
Well, I was devastated. I was sad and tired at the same time because on my speaking part, I didn't have enough time to develop the idea of the last question. I don't really remember the topic itself, but when I just listened to the audio, I was very happy because I understood everything. And I was, I think, too excited because I made a mistake in taking my notes. So I wrote like extra information that I didn't need to mention even. And yes, because of that, I developed my first argument too well, so to say, and I didn't get enough time to the second one. And I thought that it would be a disaster, that I would get a very low score, but it was good at the end.
In the end, it was not a disaster. You got an amazing score and you can apply to your dream universities, right? So that's awesome. Lisa, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for giving us an insight into what your TOEFL experience was like. And I wish you all the best for your applications and your studies in the US.
Thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.